Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Digimon Adventure 2020, episode 14. So yeah, we're here with another episode. And last time we left off, we got our ultimate evolution for Biomon, which was Garudamon. Um, Garudamon is just one that just never really left much of an impact on me growing up, I guess. Because I wasn't even sure that Garudamon was the ultimate form for Biomon. But to be fair, Garudamon looks more like it would come from Hawkmon in Adventure 02. Just design-wise. But I guess maybe that's just my sensibilities regarding Pokemon evolutions talking. So yeah, we got that. We got to see the Fun Beamon, which were cuter than they had any right to be. And we're continuing on. So we're going to continue, presumably, to get the ultimate evolutions as they make their way to meeting back up and continuing their search for the Holy Digimon. And what they're going to do next is move to the other team, because they're switching back and forth between each of the teams on who's going to get their ultimate evolution. So next, it's probably going to be Izzy then. So we're going to see Mega Kabuterimon. So that's going to be interesting. Now, I do want to say, just yesterday, I watched a video from a YouTuber named Billiam, and he did an entire retrospective, an entire series of reviews that he compiled into one 2.5 hour long video on all of the Digimon shows, movies, all of that. He didn't include the games, and he didn't include Apply Monsters or whatever it's called. His reason for that was because it was basically a complete reboot of Digimon as a whole. So he wasn't really counting that. But he did talk about everything else. And one thing he mentioned that I had forgotten about from the original is that even once we get TK and Patamon on, Patamon doesn't evolve right away. In fact, Patamon's Digivolution takes a long ass time, and that's part of the overarching character story for TK. It actually takes a long ass time to get Angemon once TK arrives. So that's going to be interesting. And even after that, it's like you don't get the ultimate form. But this series, this reboot, is clearly doing things different. So will that change as well? Or will they do the same thing in the original and have Angemon's debut be against Devimon? It would kind of make sense. But also with the fact that they're bringing in the ultimates this early, it's hard to say. We're just going to kind of have to see. And there was also some talk on Kari's role in the original as well. And there was definitely some things I forgot about that. So we're going to have to see how they handle her, too, when she eventually comes in. Because that was in the second main arc of the series in the original, that she came into play. And it's probably going to have to be the same this time because of the importance of Gatomon's role and all of that. But still, we'll see how all that works. They could change it. Again, they've been changing a lot. They changed the time for the introduction of Omnimon and everything. So we'll just have to kind of see. It also reminded me, that retrospective, that the third series, which was Tamers, I believe. I keep forgetting the names after Adventure, which order they're in. I believe it's Tamers, the one with Guillamon and Renamon. I completely forgot that one took place in the real world where Digimon was a media franchise in their world and everything. And they played the card games and watched the anime and shit. And it's like, it was so meta. And I completely forgot about that. I did remember how dark it was, though, but that's not important here. Um, I am wondering if they will get to the O2 stuff, the Digimon Adventure O2 stuff in this reboot. We'll see. Hopefully, I would love to see that, but we'll see. Um, either way, either way, I am definitely excited to see where this goes, because this has been great so far. I know some people, I believe I mentioned this last time too, have been complaining about the how quickly things are going and how quickly certain things are being introduced, including the ultimate levels. Because in the original, the ultimate levels were a big deal, and they were very largely built up to. But in this, they're just kind of introduced really early on. Um, and I know some people have been complaining about that. I know some people have been worried that this is just going way too fast. It's just introducing concepts too fast. And honestly, while it was fine and it worked in the original series to introduce everything the way that they did, people's way of consuming media, I guess you could put it, is different in the current day. And it kind of goes along with a lot of things where people want that kind of instant gratification. They want some kind of big stuff right now. And if in the case of Digimon, since it's a reboot and since so many people do know the original series, they have to do things differently. And they know that the ultimate forms, of course, in a lot of cases are really popular, such as Weregarurumon, Metal Greymon, so on and so forth. People really like those forms. So they're going to want to introduce them quicker. They're going to want to introduce them faster and without the restraints of the massive plot focus that they had in the original. Um, and I think that's the thing people are focusing too hard on. They're comparing this too much to the original and trying to see it as if it's a remake. They're trying to see it as if this should be following the same beats as the original and doing things in the same way. But that's not what this is. Digimon Adventure 2020 is rebooting the series. Yes, it's using the same characters to a degree. It's using the same Digimon partners, same basic story plots, all of that jazz. But overall, it's doing things a lot differently, and it means to. It's trying to make its own series. This is Digimon for 2020. This is not meant to just be a beat for beat remake of the original. It's meant to do its own thing, to live on its own, and it's going to make a lot of changes because of that. And I think that's fair, and I think it's necessary. And we may not like every change they make. Every change they make may not be a good idea or may not work out in the end. But we got to stop trying to act like it has to be exactly like the original. Honestly, if it were just like the original, I probably wouldn't be watching it still. Like Fruits Basket, the Fruits Basket remake, I probably would have dropped it because I felt I would feel bored by it if it were just like the original. And I know that the Fruits Basket one does diverge eventually because the original was made before the manga was finished or something, one of those cases. But still, I'm talking like the early stuff. It was just too similar to what I already knew of the series, and it's just like I could not get into it because of it. Um, but either way, I just I'm really enjoying it. And if some people don't, that's fine. Everyone has the right to their own opinion, their own view on this. Taste in media is completely 100% subjective. Not everyone has to like it, and I don't expect everyone to, but I'm just saying, just try not to compare it too much to the original and try not to see it as if it's just a remake of the original, because that's not what it is. It's a reboot. It's different. um, for my One Piece fans, anyone who watches my One Piece reactions, an example would be like there's these movies. There's these One Piece movies, which are basically just the previous arcs of the series, just redone in better animation and all of that jazz. Like there's one for Alabasta. It's the entire Alabasta arc compiled down into a movie length feature. And it doesn't really change anything. It's the same story. All it does is cut out some less important stuff, focus on the most important stuff, and kind of condense it down. But it doesn't actually change the content. That's a remake. A reboot, again, is this series. It's taking the established property and changing it, starting it over from the beginning in a new way. That's the point of it. Yeah, just again, you could think what you want of the series. I'm not telling you you have to like it or anything. I'm just saying, like, please just try to view it as it is. Don't just try to view it as a remake, but as a reboot. That's just all I'm asking here. Um, I don't know what's to happen in this episode. Again, all I can guess is that it's probably going to be Izzy's turn for his ultimate evolution, which will end up being Mega Kabuterimon. Growing up, I never really had much of an interest in Izzy's line. Tentamon's line to be specific. Um, I liked Tentamon for his personality, but that's about it. Um, I was never really. I don't like bugs. I've never liked bugs, so it's like I did kind of have a bias against Tentamon because of that. Um, and it's like I don't have like this massive interest in any of his line after that. Like Kabuterimon, Mega Kabuterimon, it's like they're just scary looking bugs. Scary looking bipedal bug people. That's all they are. They're not really that interesting. Like even with Tai's or Agumon's evolution line, I keep referring to it by the Digidestined. Even with Agumon's evolution line, it's like, yeah, at first it's like, okay, you have a dinosaur. He turns into a bigger dinosaur. But then ultimate evolution, okay, the dinosaur becomes a cyborg that shoots rockets out of its pecs. And then the mega evolution, oh, he turns from a dinosaur to a like this humanoid warrior wearing like dinosaur like armor, and it's like, holy shit, that's cool. Agumon's evolutionary line changes. It adds things on to make it cooler and more interesting. And so does Gabumon's. Yeah, this little cute wolf dude. Well, actually, it's not entirely clear what Gabumon's supposed to be because it is confirmed he's wearing a wolf skin, and there has been like these like images floating around online, supposedly official of him without it, and it's weird. Um, but either way, like he turns into this big wolf guy, Garurumon. But then after that, it's like, oh, bipedal werewolf dude who has like this military outfit on, and it's like, okay. And then after that, this like robot wolf, and so on and so forth. Palmon, this little plant cutie, turns into a big boxing cactus, and then into this cute demure fairy, plant fairy. And it's like I like when the Digivolutions change the Digimon and add new stuff or take away stuff or make it more interesting. But again, with the Tentamon line, it's like, okay, this little bug dude turns into a scary blue bug dude, turns into a scary purple, burgundy, whatever color you want to call it, bug dude. It just seems like the line has very little going for it. There's not a lot of variety or diversity or anything in the designs. It's just like, oh, it's a scary looking bug dude. Whoop de fucking do. I don't know, maybe that's just me. It just seems like the other have a little more diversity in how their designs are handled. Even Biomon's line. It's like, yeah, this little pink bird turns into this scary flaming bird dragon and then turns into a bipedal warrior birdman with crimson armor, and it's like, okay, I get that. Hell, even Gomamon's is more diverse than this, and it's just like, I just want more, you know. I don't know. Maybe they'll give the line some new abilities or something that'll help, but the designs probably won't be changing, and that's unfortunate. Um, but yeah, I'm not going to ramble on I'm not going to ramble on longer about this because I could go on and on. Um, we need to get on to the reaction. So let's just get that going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay. This was a good episode. I really enjoyed this. As much as the Tentamon line is just kind of mediocre for me, and the fact that Mega Kabuterimon or Atler Kabuterimon, I guess in the Japanese, is just kind of meh to me. I still enjoyed the episode. Like the Kawagamon and Okuamon were great villains for this. The way they worked to kind of corner and outnumber our heroes was good. Um, Okuamon just overpowering everything. Of course, being trapped in this like canyon maze also didn't help. But I also liked how this episode focused on using intelligence and strategy to take out the opponents, um, as well as maybe a little bit of brute force. Um, but yeah, there's also the subplot about Izzy learning to not rely completely on his tech, on his tablet and everything, and that he has to learn to rely on his own intelligence as well. That he has to trust in himself enough to be able to handle situations without the use of his tablet. I like that. I think that's a good lesson for his character. And I think that this was a good point to showcase that because throughout their entire time in the digital world so far, since Izzy joined them and everything, that has been something he's relied on. He's used it to analyze opposing Digimon to help them find their way and everything. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but he needed to learn that he needs to be able to trust in himself as well, and that he needs to be able to know what to do and how to handle things and just how to be himself and shit when he may not have. Sorry, I'm distracted. When he may not have his tablet, like in this case. Um, all these specks and shit on my shirt. Except this one, like right here, down, right there. That's actually on the camera. um, I don't know why, it just is. But anyway, now I'm done getting distracted, hopefully. So yeah, it was a good time for that lesson. It was a good lesson to learn, and we'll see how how it plays out going forward. Um, so yeah, all that we have left of our main 6 Digidestin so far is Joe. So next episode, we're definitely going to get Joe's ultimate evolution, which I believe is Zudomon. I believe that's the one after Ikakumon. I might be wrong though. Could that be the Mega level? I don't think it is, but I guess it could be. I think it's the ultimate though. And then, of course, we're going to get TK coming up soon, and that is definitely bolstered by the new ED. We do have a new ED now, as I noted during the reaction, and yeah, it shows a pretty good focus on TK and Patamon. We knew they were coming, of course. It was just a matter of time. Um, but yeah, it's clearly. I feel it's clearly telling us that Patamon and by extension Angemon is the holy Digimon, and that Angemon will be the key to defeating Devimon again. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of this comes about, how they meet with TK, how Matt reacts to TK being there as well, and all of that. It's going to be interesting to see. Um, I'm excited. I'm very excited to see where the rest of this goes. Um, Now, I believe, and I may be wrong about this, mind you, but I believe in the original series, like by this point, we had already met Devimon. Like, actually met him, not just seen him in shadows and shit. Um, I might be wrong about that, but I believe we actually had met Devimon by this point, and like the Digidestined had. Um, but there was also a lot less to build up with it too, because obviously they weren't introducing all the ultimate levels, and things were a little different in all the build up to all of that. So, plus there was also Meramon, who we have not seen yet. I wonder if that. I was gonna say I wonder if that will be Zudamon's episode, but why would that be Zudamon's episode? I want to see the Meramon thing because that was always a popular one. Meramon being controlled by the Black Ears, which don't seem to be a thing, unfortunately, in this one. Um, they just seem to be controlled by Soundbirdmon, but even so, most of the Digimon don't seem like repentant of it or anything either. Ogremon's the only one who kind of got who kind of got redeemed. Why am I trying to say he got repented? um, and even so, he wasn't being controlled. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna kind of have to see how this all goes. They might still introduce the Black Ears. That might just be a little bit later on. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm interested either way. So yeah, this was a good episode. I very much enjoyed it. Mimi was great in this. She was hilarious. Um, yeah, I just really did enjoy this one. But tell me what you thought in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.